Last year I did a video on the Pelican Castaway, which happens to be sitting right over here, about what I keep on the kayak when I am out on it. I'm going to do the same thing with the Perception Outlaw here. Let's check it out. All right, going relatively from front to back. The very first thing we have is actual titling and registration of this kayak for the sole reason that it does have a trolling motor. This is required by the state of Maryland, and as you can see, it is 100% free. Just has to be renewed every 2 years. Next thing we hit is basically this area pretty much stays free for me. And unless I'm going on an extended trip, I might keep a separate little cooler there with a lunch pack. But I do keep my net kind of pinned in there. This is a Placino net, hook proof, really cool, and I am going to be doing a review on that very, very soon. As we move back a little bit, we've got my front camera rig. That is a GoPro 10 in a media mod with separate mics. And if you listen to this rig actually works really, really well. And this camera is in a media mod, so I can use external miking. That's what you're listening to right there. Hold on, gotta steer. Back even further, we've got the Garmin Striker 4 CV. It's all set up on a nice little Scotty mount there. The cables go through a gland there. One of them supplies power and the other one goes to the sounder, which resides in the cubby on the underside of the Outlaw. Back just a little more, we have got a Yak Attack paddle park here on the built-in handle / track on the Outlaw. I just keep it sitting there. Because I use a Kirko paddle, this is actually intended to be a paddle park right here, but because I use this Kirko paddle with this hook, it's not something that you want to do because it'll get hooked up on that pretty much every time. Here in this hatch right here, which is a Harmony hatch and is bagged, I typically keep 2 ropes. One of them is intended to just wrap around the front here and tow if I'm doing any upstream movement. And the other one is just meant to hook up into this pad eye here and serves as a stand-up assist. Obviously, since it's just a pad eye, you don't want to put your entire weight on it. It's just to help you get up a little bit. That's it. The other thing I normally keep in the hatch is a fully comprehensive first aid kit. Move back a little bit and we see my GoPro remote. I keep my cameras, both the front and the rear, in hindsight mode. And what that does is it appends the last 30 seconds to the file every time you hit the record button. So when I hit the record button, it's already got 30 seconds of footage buffered in. So I don't miss a hook set, and that's how I activate the cameras. There we've got the switch plate. If you want to see what everything does with that switch plate, be sure to check out my Perception series, the Outlaw 11.5 Brought to Justice. The playlist will be linked in the description. Moving back a little bit more, we've got the Perception saddlebag, which is intended for this kayak and the newer pedal drive version. It's good for random tackle, fits Plano boxes just fine. I just keep things like that in there. It actually hooks into the kayak. There are two of these clips both on the front and the back side of this, so this isn't going anywhere. Back yet a little more, I've got the fishing rods. On the right side, I keep my finesse stuff. This is finesse TRD, 1/32 ounce mule fishing jig head. This is big TRD, 1/16 ounce mule fishing jig head. I always roll with both because I'm almost always in rivers and always need to be able to have the bait flow with the current. And sometimes if the current's a little bit stronger, or if there's no current at all, I'll throw the big TRD, where if it's mellow current, I'll throw the finesse TRD. On the other side, I generally keep two rods with moving baits. Right now I've got two rigged up. One is kind of a finesse-y spinning rig that's got a 3/8 ounce head and spook boyo. And on my Cadence bait caster here, this is a Berkeley Jaywalker. I generally keep these set up so I can change out moving baits fairly easily. Under the seat here, we've got a battery that sometimes will handle the power for both the fish finder and the cameras. That's typically when I'm rolling without the motor. But if I am rolling with the motor, I've got a 55 amp hour dry cell battery in this box here, and I can easily just change out this cable to this port right here, and it will power not only the motor but the fish finder and the cameras. Back here we've got my good old Titan cooler, and I'm gonna have to do a review on that too. And then we move to the back camera mount. That's not the camera that I normally use. This is an older GoPro. I actually have the one that I use right there in my hand right now, and this is another GoPro 10. And then of course the motor. Now going for other things that I keep under the seat, first off, we've got a shorter bump board. Depending on what I'm going for, I might go for a longer one, you know, if I think I'm going to be into pike or snakehead or whatnot, if I'm targeting them. When that's the case, I will also elect to go with 3 rods, eliminate that net, and go with a bigger net in one of the shotgun holders there. We've got a small dry bag, keep it leashed. This will typically hold batteries, sunscreen, hand soap, fishing licenses, wallet, keys, etc. And then I've got a bigger bag, also leashed. This is more tackle, line, spare baits that I go through quite a bit, and both a scale and a fish grip with a little pocket knife attached to that. And that's pretty much it. That's how we roll on this thing. I really do like this kayak, but it is time for me to move on. We've got to cover another kayak pretty quickly here. So this one is going on the market. I haven't quite figured out how much it's going to go for, because it's going to go with everything except for the cameras. It's going to go with the battery, the motor, fish finding system, and everything that you've seen me add to this kayak. But before it goes, I am going to be doing a final review of it, the Outlaw, 1 year later, to give you my final impressions for it. So keep an eye out for that one. Should be rolling out in a few weeks. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.